I want to hear your thoughts on a couple fan bases that are angry at each other.
This has been Strictly Ball Business.
Strictly ball business.
Strictly ball business.
I like that video.
Shit. A couple teams that are mad at each other. And I think one team in particular, the whole NBA fandom has turned against, and that's the Phoenix Suns, right? Everybody, I think, considers the Suns to be the most hated team in the league now. I mean, they whine about everything. I mean, even DeAndre Ayton said today they lost to whoever they just played. I don't remember. I think maybe the Clippers or something. But he said, when we're on tape, this isn't the same sort of teams that we saw on tape. Like, they're playing harder than what we saw on the tape. So, I mean, it's no wonder that we lost because, gosh, I mean, they're playing so much harder than we could have possibly expected. It's like, well, what are you talking about? And then he was describing things. He's like, oh, they were like getting behind us, getting rebounds. They were hitting shots. It's like, you're just talking about playing basketball, DeAndre.
That's basically, that's it. You said it, yeah. Keep going, though. Sorry, my bad. I was just laughing.
No, I was done. I mean, I think, I don't know what else I need from you. I just need you to tell me, Sir Dalton. I need you to tell me why it is the Suns are so unlikable, why it is the Pelicans are so like they're complete polar opposites. Everybody's rooting for the Pelicans. Will it switch?
I don't think so.
Are people going to hate the Pelicans eventually?
I don't think so. I think a part of it is, I think we've talked about it. I think DeAndre doesn't want to be a Sun anymore. He's being a professional. He's playing well. I'm not saying anything. I don't think he's part of it. I think it kind of hurt the team, especially with the Jay Crowder. What's going on with Jay Crowder? They lost a lot of pieces. And especially the biggest factor is ever since Kanye tweeted, they have been 1-6. 1-6 since the Kanye tweets. Chris Paul, man, what's going on? No, it's the Kardashian curse. I mean, I think
in there.
It happens. I think Devin Booker's like, hey, man, you too, Chris.
Like, hey.
I thought better.
I mean, it must have been how Chris Paul met her.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The Pelicans are so much more fun. I mean, it was hilarious the other day when Zion 360 dunked on them right after. It was immediately after Chris Paul tried making a layup. They were down by 11 points with like 9 seconds to go. So then Chris Paul, of all people, got mad at Zion for ducking it. Like, get out of here. And Cameron Payne, like, shut up.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Paul's a very prideful guy. I like when he plays basketball. Unfortunately, it's not often anymore, as you see it. Like, the guy's out there making calls. I mean, sure, the guy thinks there's a ref that's out to get him. And that's me in Call of Duty, and I'm not a professional at anything. So, like,
yeah, but CP3 is also, he's constantly flopping and then getting mad at the refs. Like, I'm sorry, dude, but you've been doing this for years, and they're just now, loosening the belt a little bit. Like, oh, you don't get that special treatment anymore. Yeah, you should have never been getting it. Like, nope. We don't even know who the real Chris Paul is, like how good he actually is at basketball, because all he's done is this whole chunky shit for years.
No, yeah, exactly. And as you probably expected, I have a graphic, and I broke down the numbers just to look at how these teams are doing. I just wanted to talk about Kanye, too. So I'll post it over here.
Yeah. You got the Kanye stats ready, 1-6.
Yeah, 1-6. I had to toss that out there. 7 games in 12 days. So the Suns and the Pelicans, head-to-head. Pelicans are a faster team. They score more points. However, their offense is better. They're the 5th best offense in the league, whereas the Suns are the 2nd best offense. So the Suns are slower. It's because they have DeAndre Ayton, as Valanciunas is kind of pulled out of their offense more now that Zion and BI and CJ are there. They're running, their pace is better. But the Pelicans are 3rd in defense. They're the 3rd best defense in the league. Whereas the Suns, they lost guys like, I do think they lost some of that intensity with DeAndre Ayton. Obviously, they lost Jay Crowder. And it shows. I mean, they're 12th in defense right now. And that was a huge part of their identity. I mean, Devin Booker will always be there for their offense. But it's tough. And honestly, the Pelicans aren't even that behind with offensive rating, especially this early in the season. they can definitely pass the Suns. Fifth and second are not too far apart at this point in the season. It's not a huge gap, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this is a young team that can make stops and get out and transition quickly and make those buckets easily. And they've got a great defender they drafted in Herb Jones that helps them out. Jonas Valanciunas has been a better defender than I thought he'd be. You know, normally he wasn't. That's why Toronto got rid of him ultimately. But he's only gotten better since he left Toronto. So that's been cool to see. And yeah, I mean, I think Zion's a hard guy to get around anyways. Like, even if he's not like the fastest dude, he's still like a wall. So he's just naturally going to be a decent defender over his career just because of how big he is.
Yeah, and definitely. And the Pelicans have all got across the board. Everyone's improving. Alvarado is getting better. Trey Murphy, we talked about, is getting better. Herb is getting better. CJ's he's getting a little worse, but he can afford that because everyone else around him is getting better, and he is contributing to their betterment. I mean, he's a great vet to have. Him and Valanciunas are leading this team as vets. With BI's being BI, he's doing well. Whereas the rule in the NBA is if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Yeah. And they lost Jay Crowder. They lost emotionally. They lost DeAndre Ayton, and yeah. I can't point to anybody on that team that is improving this year right now. I mean, Mikal Bridges is doing better, but I don't think it's marginally enough for this team to continue what they were doing. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think the team really stands out when Cam Johnson has a big game because that's the guy who, if he improves this year, becomes a star. Maybe not a star, but a really good player. Then the team can stay really good. That's kind of what they need. But he's not consistent enough. You know, he has had a couple games in the 20 points. He's had at least 130-pointer. So I know he's got it in him. He can shoot pretty well. The consistency's just not there yet.
Yeah, and campaign, that's a great example because he's always been such an infectious player. Like he's a hype guy. He's always been a glue guy. He was a glue guy with.
When I say campaign, I meant Cam Johnson. If I didn't.
Oh, you said campaign. Yeah. Well, Cam Johnson too. Yeah, Cam Johnson. They're expecting a lot out of him. He's always been a good offensive player. He's a knockdown shooter. However, the more minutes he plays, the less defense they have on the floor, and they don't have that flexibility because as you can look at, this is a perfect example. If you look at like the box score, you could look at Jay Crowder and you can think he doesn't do much, but he's always a vet in all their ears. Just he's there. He's a coach's player, just like Pat Bev is or CP3 is when he's not having a thing.
Yeah. Has he still not played Jay Crowder? Is he still like just sitting on the bench? I don't get it. Like
he's very offended apparently that they try. I'm sure there's more behind it, but
no
surface
one is
level.
Gonna start him.
No, and he's offended that he's not starting and that he was in a trade talks, and he's like because he signed with that team with like the best hope and everything. He's like nobody signs with the Phoenix Suns, etc. Listen, I'm like whatever, Jay, just go to the Timberwolves already. All right, figure it out. No, they're waiting for a good trade, I'm sure, to have him in there. But yeah. I mean, I hope it turns into a rivalry because I do think the Suns might struggle. But I think they can turn it around. I think they'll still be a good team for a couple of years. I don't think they're close to blowing it up. I think if they do trade DeAndre Ayton, I think it'll be for asset. I don't think it'll be for picks.
I mean, ultimately, they've got Devin Booker on this team, and they're not going to be getting rid of him anytime soon. So you've got to keep as much talent around him as you can. DeAndre Ayton is great. I don't know if he could find this better, but they'll try. They'll certainly try. Keep kicking that can down the road.
I don't think they'll find a better center. I think the best replacement, I think they're going to look for the Pacers and get like a guy like Miles Turner, who's playing great right now. But I think I voted DeAndre as a top 5 center in this league when we did our rankings earlier this season.
I think he is. And he's been playing like one this year too. Like he's been great in a lot of games, but I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I think they just need a change there. It's not really working chemistry wise, so it is what it is. But
like and subscribe. We like talking basketball. You guys like hearing about basketball. It's simple as that. That's it.